The government of Ogun State has extended hand of service to the aged and the physically challenged in the society by providing them with special service in the waste disposal. The governor disclosed this through the Special Advisor on Environment, Mr. Ola Oresoya, at a meeting with the PSP operators, vendors, and waste managers. Tunde Olanio reports that the governor charged the PSP operators to be alive to their responsibilities, especially during the Utile season. Here is his report.
In between the state governor, Prince Abeokuta, represented by the Special Advisor on Environment, Ola Oresoya, with the waste managers, vendors, and PSP operators to plan ahead of the festive season when the state, being the gateway state, will play host to visitors. From the government side, a clean environment is not negotiable, as it is a top priority of the current administration in the state for the well-being of the people.
We're taking a strategy called community enforcement strategy. So there's an inclusiveness in the community that we are doing. We are employing youths in the community to join us in enforcement and with the community leaders. So that program is going on, and we started recruiting youths and community leaders to do this enforcement together. I'm sure most of the community leaders and youths, they don't like people coming to desecrate their environment.
The governor announced free waste management service to the aged and the physically challenged in the society.
Well, we noticed that we have a lot of elderly people around. Some of them cannot really afford to pay for this service. Some of them are pensioners. Some of them, they don't have a means of livelihood. And apart from that, they've served the state. And one or two incentives we can give them is to give a kind of privileged service to them. So these are the things we are considering. And those who are physically challenged also, rather than tax them, they need assistance. So, and this is a government that is sympathetic about the people, and the governor is so emphatic about it that we must help people.
The waste managers said they were ready for the task.
It's a good development from our amiable governor that he wants to extend and acknowledge the good age among the citizens and the less privileged one. And the signal have been sent to us. We have gotten the directive from the SA, and that is what we are going to work on.
The number to call for the elders and the physically challenged in the state to enjoy the free waste management service is 0905 467 0306 or 0901 047 0056. Tunde Olanio, Ogtv News.
Ogun State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelo Molunge, has called on entrepreneurs in the state to take advantage of the ongoing micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, business clinics to grow their businesses. The commissioner made the call while declaring open the Ogun State MSMEs Business Clinic for the Ijebu Zone, held at the Daniel Aketonde Hall, Ijebu-Ode. Longe stated that the business clinic will help entrepreneurs address challenges affecting their businesses, adding that participants will be able to benefit from single-digit interest loans, capacity building, as well as address the challenges posed by the need to get approvals and clarifications or certifications for their products.
That want to help you provide on-the-spot services that will enhance your businesses.
Commissioner for Finance and Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor, Mr. Dapo Ukubadija, said the government organized the business clinic to build the production capacity of MSMEs so as to improve on their production and financial management, adding that government would also create a digital marketplace like the Amazon platform. In his welcome address, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Remy Ogumefo, said the government was targeting 10,000 entrepreneurs through the clinic, assuring that key performance indicators like capital linkage transaction value will be used to evaluate the result of the program. He added that the government will follow up on participants at the clinic, adding that after the Ijebu Zone, the event will be held at the Remo Secondary School, Shagamu, on Thursday, 16th December 2021 for the Shagamu-Ogijo zone. Delivering his goodwill message, Chairman, Ogun State House of Assembly on Industry, Trade and Investment, Honorable Kemi Oduwole, called on the participants to ensure they utilize the loan facilities made available through the clinic judiciously. Joseph Kende and Oluwayemisi Ogunade, who spoke on behalf of the participants, lauded the state government for organizing the clinic, stating that they would utilize the opportunity to grow their businesses. About 100 youths in Imeko for local government area of the state have joined the list of beneficiaries being empowered by the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN's Anchor Borrowers Agricultural Program through the Cassava Intervention Project of the Ogun State Government. This was made known by the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adeola Odedino, at the allocation of cassava farmland to beneficiaries at Imeko for local government area of the state. Margaret Ukunola has the details.
Ogun State government has flagged off allocation of cassava farmland to Batch C beneficiaries of Anchor Borrowers Program at Bagbori in Imeko local government area of the state. Speaking during the flag-off program, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adeola Odedino, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Dotun Shorunke, stressed that the second batch of land allocation was for youths without plowable land.
The whole idea is we want to make farming as friendly, as labor-free as possible. The Ogun State government, as directed by the Governor, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, we support these people with extension services through Ogun State Agricultural Development Program. And we've signed agreements. We have MOU with off-takers. So we've eliminated possible challenges.
Goodwill messages were delivered by dignitaries present.
This Anchor Borrowers program is one that's very, very important to not just the state, but the people in the community, because most of the time there's so many barriers as a youth to enter into agriculture.
This is the time for them to key into the agricultural policies of Ogun State government. There's free agriculture here. Courtesy Prince Dr. Abeokuta.
I will also advise the beneficiary that they should use the land judiciously.
In view of tremendous benefits derivable from the opportunity, beneficiaries applauded the initiative.
I see it as one of the opportunity because we have the idea of farming here, but most of us do not have land to practice what we have been taught when we are in school. So with this that our governor has done, we are so much happy.
The Anchor Borrowers has been a wonderful program, and it will boost the food productions in Ogun State.
100 hectares of cassava farmland was allocated to 100 beneficiaries. Margaret Ukunola, Ogtv News.
Plans are underway by the current administration in Ogun State to formulate cocoa commercialization policy aimed at improving farmers' livelihood. This came to fore at the paper presentation of the historical pathways and dynamics of change of cocoa production in Ondo, Osun, and Ogun states, held at the Obas Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta. Ronke Ademi has the details.
In recent years, commercialization has become a major concern in research on agricultural development. The cocoa sector has since developed with non-existent policy, hence the importance of policy recommendation. This is why the Ministry of Agriculture, Ogun State, embarked on a 6-year research program initiated by the Agricultural Policy Research in Africa to gather effective and comprehensive evidence towards achieving cocoa commercialization, with particular interest in women empowerment. Representing the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, the Director, Tree Crops, Mr. James Oyeshola, said the ministry will continue to strive for efficient agriculture and improve food security in the state.
We are ready for this because a lot of things we are putting in place in terms of transformation. We have started distributing free cocoa from 2019, free of charge. So we are already ready, and the state has taken the bull by the horn to position cocoa for our foreign exchange and in totality in Nigeria.
The paper presentation highlighted the evidence to support the policies to be put in place to strengthen input market policy.
We also realize that particularly for Ogun State, we need to develop the value chain. Aggregators, marketers, transporters, they are too few. We need industrial sectors or processing zones at strategic locations that will support the growth of the market.
Marketing will go a long way. Structured in a way that farmers will take the lead. You know, when you have farmers having a voice in marketing system.
Cocoa farmers at the presentation said new policies in cocoa commercialization was long overdue.
We all have a role to play. The farmers will play their role, the government will play their role, the association as a guidance will play their own role too.
They agreed that the commercialization of cocoa will contribute to rural development as it will ensure food security and alleviate poverty. Aderunke Adeyemi, Ogtv News.
Still to come on the news, President Buhari seeks Senate confirmation for new INEC commissioners. Details of this and more after the break. You're still watching the comprehensive news package for the day on Ogtv. Ogun State government is targeting building close to 3,500 housing units in its first term in office to raise the bar and bridge the gap of housing deficit in the country. This was part of the position of the Commissioner for Housing in Ogun State, Jagumolu Akondeomoni, while fielding questions from our man, Bumi Adigun, at the site of one of the housing estates at Kabakwe area of Ogun State. His report.
In the next 9 to 10 years, as projected by one of the housing experts recently, Nigeria would experience a 22 million housing deficit if nothing was done to address the increasing demand occasioned by increasing number of citizens. Nigeria's population grows at the rate of 2.55%, and as at 2020, Nigeria's population was put at 206 million. Housing under social welfare in the Ishaya mantra is one important sector under Prince Dapo Abiodun's administration, as the way it is being pursued is different and it is yielding results. Kabakwe recently came into force as one of the communities hosting a big project in that sector, and the multiplier effect could not be imagined immediately. A visit to members of this community shows that they are hospitable and are happy to host this project, as they could not wait to reap its fruits. This crew interacted with the royal father in charge of Kabakwe community, who commended the initiative behind the project.
Population boost. There will be population boost. Of course, these people have to come and reside. They are bringing in people, and I know, of course, when you have such estates, there are always some sort of multiplier effects, you see, that goes along with it in terms of to improve, to increase the trading activities of people within the town. Of course, they have to liaise with people in the estate. Probably those people are doing all this, they are petty or some local markets. Like, before you know it, don't be surprised. There will be some sort of food stock market where the people can easily buy ingredients for their household, something they imagine around the area. We are appreciative of what he's doing. And of course, we are those who are praying that he should secure a second term back. That's at least from what we have seen.
Have you experienced it at night?
In those days.
I mean now.
Okay, have they put on the light? Yes. You know, the last time I passed, the light was not on yet.
Now the light is on.
Okay, that's another beautiful thing.
Back to the smart city, total units of 300 from 1-2 bedrooms where people can live, work, and play. It is provided with solar street lights, sewage system, primary health center, drainage, water, electricity, tarred road, and a police post for the comfort of the would-be residents. Commissioner for Housing in Ogun State, Jagumolu Akondeomoni, said this cannot be seen anywhere else.
We are bringing on board very soon a fiber optics internet connectivity. Already, Main One has already laid the cable, and within a very short time, we are connecting all the homes to that connectivity. So these are just few of the things that makes this place a place where everybody wants to be, and that is evident in the numbers of subscriptions we've received so far. As a matter of fact, I must tell you that this place is oversold. The 300 units here is fully subscribed and fully allocated. We should be rolling out the names within the next couple of days. Also, the 226 that is already ongoing is subscribed to about 85% level. People are fully paid, and what's just left for us is just to deliver on our own promise. And like we said, by May 2022, these houses will be readily available for those who have subscribed to them.
This and many other projects like this road, Abeokuta Shiun Interchange Road, will also be commissioned by the President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, when he visits the state this month. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
The Ogun State Ministry of Information and Strategy says it has taken advantage of the new media platforms alongside the production of the state-owned weekly newspaper, the Nigerian Gateway, to further sensitize the populace on government's policies and programs. Commissioner in the ministry, Alhaji Abdul Wahid Odushule, disclosed this while appearing before members of the State House of Assembly Committee on Finance and Appropriation to defend the 2022 budget estimate of his ministry at the Assembly Complex, Ukimoso, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kola Oleosho covered the exercise. Details of his report are presented in this package.
Appearing before the lawmakers to defend the year 2022 budget of Ministry of Information and Strategy, Commissioner Alhaji Abdul Wahid Odushile, who defended a total budget estimate of 601 million naira for the next fiscal year, said the initiative taken on the adoption of social media was meant to further spread government policies to the nooks and crannies of the state. According to him, the ministry was set to put in place a 24-hour feedback unit to get proper and extensive information from the populace to aid two-way communication channel between the government and the governed.
Area of activities that we want to rev up next year, aside from what we are doing presently. Of course, our monthly publication, you update, which I'm sure honorable members are used to. We also want to step it up, provided in that budget for this publication, such that we can go higher than what we are doing presently doing in terms of circulation.
He further underscored the need to ensure the immediate upgrade of equipment and other infrastructure at state-owned media houses, the State Broadcasting Corporation (OGBC) and the State Television (OGTV), as well as the State Printing Corporation, to aid their performances. Similarly, the State Commissioner for Transport, Engineer Gbenga Dairu, while taking his turn to defend the budget proposal of the ministry before the state lawmakers, explained the government was set to attract investments towards rail access developments associated with Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail corridor. Engineer Dairu while defending his ministry's total budget estimate of 861 million naira for 2022, said out of the total, the sum of 512 million naira was being earmarked for capital expenditure, while recurrent, which included personnel and overhead, will take 349 million naira.
What we intend to do in 2022 is to begin the implementation of railway stations at Ijoko and Abeokuta. That is the process of implementation, not complete implementation. As we are working with the United Kingdom authorities to see how we can implement a bus scheme between Mowe and Lagos. And if we get the approvals of the federal authorities, we want to take that opportunity to implement some bus stops along that particular axis.
Other agencies that defended their budget estimates before the lawmakers included the State Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Ogun State Television, Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, OGBC, the State Signage and Advertising Agency, Bureau of ICT, State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, State Printing Corporation, State Independent Electoral Commission, as well as Parks and Garages Development Agency, amongst others.
In order to regulate the practice of the build sector, the Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a State Administration of Fiscal Planning, Urban Development, Slum Regeneration and Building Production Management Law 2021, as well as 4 other resolutions on building production management regulations. The resolutions included the State Building Production Management Regulation 2020, the State Layout and Land Subdivision Regulation, State Planning and Development Permit Regulations, State Slum Regeneration, and the State Outdoor Physical Furniture Regeneration or Regulations. Correspondent again, Kola Oliosho, covered the plenary, and his report is presented in this package.
The passage of the bill, State Administration of Fiscal Planning, Urban Development, Slum Regeneration and Building Production Management Law 2021, and resolutions on the State Building Production Management Regulation 2020, the State Layout and Land Subdivision Regulation, State Planning and Development Permit Regulations, State Slum Regeneration and the State Outdoor Physical Furniture Regulations, passed by the House at its plenary, followed the respective presentations of the reports of the House Committee on Lands and Housing by its chairman, Honorable Damilola Shoneye. Subsequently, Shoneye moved the motion for the adoption of the 2 reports, seconded by Honorable Lushola Adams and Honorable Yusuf Adejojo, and thereafter supported by other lawmakers through a voice vote. The bill was later read and adopted clause by clause, after which the motion for the 3rd reading was moved by the Majority Leader, Yusuf Sharif, seconded by the Deputy Speaker, Akim Balogun, while Clerk of the House and Head of Legislative Service, Mr. Dijari Yemo, did the 3rd reading.
I hereby that the green copy of the bill of the State of Planning Development Law 2021 be forwarded to the Governor of the State, Mr. Abeokuta, for his assent. I so order.
The Assembly had earlier convened a stakeholders forum on the bill, where concerned government agencies in the state responsible for the proposed law and administration of fiscal planning, urban development and building production management were challenged to always consider and reflect the uniqueness of various communities and status of residents, especially low-income earners, in the new law, when eventually passed and assented by Governor Abiodun. The lawmakers at the public hearing stressed that the state remained a developing entity that needed to accommodate more developmental projects, including investment opportunities in preparation for the status of a smart city, and will have to consider transiting its expansion and developmental initiatives on the people with human face.
Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwa Abiodun said his deliberate approach to good governance and security agencies in collaboration have been responsible for the peaceful atmosphere being enjoyed in the state. Governor Abiodun stated these while receiving the new commander of the 36 or 35 Artillery Brigade, Alabala, Brigadier General Isa Abdullahi, in his office at Okimoso, Abeokuta.
Because it means that you understand not just the politics, but also the security or insecurity, as it were, at that time. And you can appreciate where we are at this time. Since we left, we've done a lot to improve on the security of the states. We don't have a doubt that this is just a reminder of things that you already know, and from the introduction that the outgoing has given of you and what you've said and what we know of you, we are sure that you are quite capable and you would quickly settle in to give the full complement and to continue from where Brigadier General Adeokuta has left off. Welcome you back to Gateway State. If there's anything that we need to do to assist you in quickly settling in, please do not hesitate to ask us.
General Isa Abdullahi, who served in the state some years back, promised to support and synergize with other security agencies to strengthen the security architecture of the state.
Know Ogun State very well, and issues relating to peace and security of Ogun State is very dear, because Ogun State is a state that is critical to the economy of this country. As such, I will perform my roles professionally to ensure that I contribute my own quota towards ensuring that the peace and security of Ogun State is achieved.
The outgoing commander of the artillery, Brigadier General Adewale Adekoya, appreciated Governor Dapo Abiodun for his leadership quality, adding that there is no doubt that Brigadier General Isa Abdullahi will leave no stone unturned to improve the security apparatus of the state. Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State has announced a drastic reduction in cases of terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping in the state, insisting that the recent killing of his Commissioner for Science and Technology, Dr. Rabiu Nasser, was politically motivated. The governor was speaking to newsmen after leading a delegation of the Katsina Elders Forum on a courtesy visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. Members of the Katsina Elders Forum were in the State House to make a formal request for the conversion of the Federal Medical Center Katsina into a teaching hospital to be handed over to the Faculty of Medicine of the state-owned Umar Musa Yar'Adua University.
In the university, we have the laboratory, everything is in place except the teaching hospital. That's why we come to intervene, so that we can be given opportunity to use this federal facility until such a time we will be ready to go. Unless that is done, I'm afraid all the investment made by both the federal government and state government in establishing faculty of medicine in Umar Musa Yar'Adua will be lying west.
I will expect the Minister of Health to take the issues seriously, study the documents, and have a comprehensive memo to me and send it as soon as possible.
Governor Aminu Masari is of the view that if the Federal Medical Center Katsina is converted into a teaching hospital, Daura Emirate should have an opportunity of having a Federal Medical Center. The delegation also used the opportunity to appreciate the President for improved security in the state.
Take a drop of over 100% in terms of the rate of kidnappings, killings, and associated crimes with banditry.
What do you attribute that?
Well, I think combined efforts of the security containment order and the efforts of the security forces to go after informants in particular, and also to go after the bandits hideout. And even 2 days ago they had an operation of clearance, which I think is proving very successful. And I think what is most important for us to succeed is for all the states, especially in northwestern states, to take the pain and work together to make sure that we block all the loopholes.
The governor described as welcoming the resolve by Katsina and her neighboring state to collaborate more effectively on the fight against crime and criminality across their borders. The National Security Advisor, NSA, retired Major General Babagana Mungunu, has named 3 groups supporting terrorist organizations in the Sahel region. He identified them as Jamaat Nasser al-Islam, while Muslim JNIM, the Islamic and Muslim Support Group GSIM, and Islamic State in Greater Sahara ISGS. Mungunu made the disclosure on Tuesday in a speech delivered at the 14th workshop of the League of Ulamas, Preachers and Imams of Sahel countries in Abuja. He asked the international community and its Sahelian partners to prioritize governance, cautiously pursue an expanded peace process through dialogue, and push for adoption of more non-kinetic measures through affected communities. Mungunu, however, stated that the possibility of ISWAP creating an established caliphate to rival Lake Chad Basin Commission countries has been checkmated by a series of concerted and reinvigorated efforts of the countries of the region. The Department of State Services, DSS, has raised alarm that certain groups and individuals intend to cause a breakdown of law and order in the state. The service said this is more so as it observed that some persons who are desperately seeking power use wrong and skewed narratives not only mislead citizens but overheat the polity. It said already such persons are exploiting and politicizing the issue of insecurity in parts of the country for pecuniary and other selfish reasons. Addressing newsmen at the DSS headquarters, Public Relations Officer of the service, Dr. Peter Afunaya, said many simply want to use the situation to cause divisions among citizens, seek cheap popularity, and or present the country as ungovernable. The service also raised alarm that recessing members of the National Assembly and other public and private sector workers on vacation may be predisposed to threats of various degrees. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed some national commissioners and resident electoral commissioners to replace the outgoing ones. This is contained in its letter read by the President of the Senate, Habib Lawan, during plenary. The nominees are Malam Muhammad Haruna from Niger State as the North Central National Commissioner. Others include Mrs. May Agramuche Mbu, Delta State National Commissioner, and Okeago Kenneth Nandi, Abia State Southeast National Commissioner. Also appointed were Major General A.B. Alkali, retired, Adamawa State Northeast National Commissioner, Professor Rada A. Gomez, Bayelsa State South National Commissioner, Mr. Sam Olumeko, Ondo State Southwest National Commissioner, and Olani Olale Ijaloe, Ondo State Southwest Resident Electoral Commissioner. President Buhari also nominated commissioners for the National Population Commission. They are Mr. Benedict Opang, Mrs. Gloria Uzofo, Barrister Mrs. Patricia Oyanya Akuchi, Dr. Bala Haliru, and Dr. Iyetayo Oyetumbi. The Senate has amended the Senate Standing Rules 2015 and approved a simple majority for the election of presiding officers. The Red Chamber also retained a closed ballot system of voting for the election of the President of the Senate and the Deputy. The amendment of the rules followed the consideration of a motion pursuant to Order 111 of the Senate Standing Rule 2015. The motion was sponsored by Chairman of the Committee on Rules and Business, Suleiman Umar, and the Vice Chairman, who is the Senate Leader, Yahya Abdullahi. The Rules and the Business Committee had proposed two-thirds majority in its report. The Senate President, Habib Lawan, however, cautioned that an amendment in the direction of a two-thirds majority could be exploited to stall the inauguration and election of presiding officers. Lawmakers in the majority, who were swayed by the Senate President's observation, accordingly voted in support of a simple majority for the election of presiding officers. The fourth convocation ceremony of the Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakpade, Remo, Ogun State, holds on Thursday, 16th December 2021 from 11 in the morning. A statement from the rector, Dr. Isaiah Kolaoli Oyinka, has it that the ceremony will hold at Prince Dapo Abiodun Leadership Development Center, Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakpade. The statement adds that the state governor, who is also a visitor to the Polytechnic, will commission some projects at 10 in the morning in the institution. Southwest Agenda for 2023 Swagger, a political movement building support for the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to claim the presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress APC CAM 2023 has been launched in the Ogun Central area of the state. The event, championed by a former senator who represented the Axis, Senator Gbenga Obadara, took place at Oriomi Okeshokori, Abeokuta. Bumi Adigun reports.
As the clock counts down to the 2023 general elections, various parties' decision to pick preferred candidates for the presidential position has begun across the nation. The roll call and followership of a political group called Southwest Agenda are getting larger. Abeokuta North local government in Ogun State was made the rallying point for other local governments in Ogun Central to formally launch this group in the state. From 6 local government areas, faithfuls converged on Oriomi at Okeshokori in Abeokuta to be part of history. Senator Gbenga Obadara is championing this movement in Ogun Central and is here accompanied by other Swagger national leaders to sell their candidates.
We don't need to vote for any other person other than Swagger. And what is Swagger? The Swagger is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which we are begging him. We are telling him to come out, to come and contest this election, because we know that if he comes out to contest this election, he's going to win the election for us.
The mission here is to spread the message to the grassroots, and the man with the message is Senator Rilwan Adesoji Akanbi, who is the national vice chairman of Swagger 23.
That's the only person that can muster people together for a common goal.
The Swagger 23 campaign is for the presidential ambition of former Lagos State Governor Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
And reports just coming in says the Olu of Owu Kingdom, Abeokuta, Oba Adegboyega Olusoya Dosumu Amororo II, has joined his ancestors. Announcing the death in Abeokuta on Tuesday, the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe, expressed his condolences to the chiefs and people of Owu over the demise of the first-class traditional ruler who passed on Sunday, 12th December, after a brief illness. Honorable Afuakwe said the state mourns the veteran TV producer who ascended the throne in 2005 as the 13th Olu, and Oba Adewale Adisaodele Lagbedu, who transited to glory in 2003. Meanwhile, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has expressed shock at the transition of the Olu of Owu Kingdom, Oba Olusoya Dosumu Amororo II. In a condolence message issued on his behalf on Tuesday by his chief press secretary, Kole Shomori, Governor Abiodun described Oba Dosumu as a quintessential monarch, a man of peace, and a passionate supporter of development. While condoling with the monarch's immediate family and the people of Owu, the governor said they should take solace in the lasting impact he had on his domain. He prayed that God Almighty grants Kabiesi's soul eternal repose and the people he left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. Next on the business segment of the news with Bola Oshomoji.
Welcome to business segment of the news. The federal government has indicated the possibility of introducing new taxes, tariffs and levies as part of measures to shore up its revenue. This is just as the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning has said it is closely following the legal tussle instituted by some states against the federal government on collection and sharing of revenue from value-added tax to determine its next policies. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said these are the public hearing on the 2021 Finance Bill organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Finance in Abuja. The minister noted that as of September, the federal government's retained revenue was 4.56 trillion naira, achieving 75% of budget, while the government's share of oil revenues was 845 billion naira, representing 56.3% above budget. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, has said the sector play a vital role in lifting the Nigerian economy out of recession in 2020. He stated this during the launch of a book, Technology and Development, an African Perspective, authored by Dr. Everest Amafule. The minister, who was represented by his spokesperson, Mrs. Uwa Sulaiman, while delivering the keynote address at the public presentation of the book, said the ICT sector recorded the highest growth rate of 14.70% in the fourth quarter of 2020, as reported by the National Bureau of Statistics. Naira clinched a significant gain against the US dollar at the official market as foreign exchange supply plummeted at the spot market segment. Data posted on FMDQ Securities Exchange windows, where Forex is officially traded, showed that the Naira, which opened at 414.05, closed at 414.06 Naira per $1 at the close of business on Monday. This represents a 1.04 Naira or 0.3% devaluation from 415.10 Naira it exchanged on Friday last week. The Naira experienced an intraday high of 404.00 Naira and a flow of 452.15 Naira before closing at 414.06 Naira to a dollar on Monday. A $210 million loan approved by the Board of Directors of the African Development Bank could impact the lives of millions of people in Nigeria, Africa's most populous country. The loan will co-finance Phase 1 of the Nigeria Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone Program. The program will help to unlock Nigeria's agriculture sector potential. It will promote industrialization through the development of strategic crops and livestock. African Development Bank financing for this program represents one of the bank's most ambitious operations in terms of scale and scope to date. And that was business news. Back to Wally.